Hello everyone, William here from 222 Productions, and I am here to talk to you about the Minneapolis Qualifiers of American Ninja Warrior Season 10 in approximately 20 minutes or less, starting now. So this was the final qualifier for this season, and it was a bit of a bloodbath, to be completely honest. You look at like the full results and like you realize that almost everyone, if not everyone, who cleared the ring jump, which is the third obstacle, moved on to the next round. Those first two obstacles really front loaded everything. Bit crazy how that worked out, but basically, let's just go through the course. First, we had the floating steps, of course. Then the double twist, which was basically it's two handles that you have to jump, swing, and lâcher to the next one. But the catch is they rotate also, so your body is going around in like weird ways. Took out a lot of people. Took out 24 people. That's a quarter right there. And then is the ring jump, which returned from last season. Basically, once again, grab the ring, got to jump the pegs. But that took out 38 people, according to A&W Nation, and like people just couldn't seem to figure out what this obstacle. You saw a lot of, just watching the show, a lot of people failing the obstacle. It seems very unusual because it doesn't seem like it's been made more difficult in any way, but it just seems to be how things worked out. And then you have the Diamond Dash, which is basically just a modified coin flip, except instead of coins, they're diamonds. It was okay as an obstacle. Obviously, like the secret to an obstacle like that is you want to try to like step as center as possible to prevent flippage from the actual diamonds themselves. Then was Return of the Battering Ram. Big fan of the Battering Ram. I love the obstacle from last year. Glad to see it back. It seems to be pretty much the same as last year to my recollection. And then, of course, is the dual wart walls. So, I just want to bring up, what was it? So that U.S. Bank Stadium. And one thing that was kind of interesting about the intro was that at one point they had Jake Murray appear and it was like, hey, did you miss me? Which is kind of weird because he was in last season. Like, that would have been something appropriate for, like, Isaac or, like, if Jeff comes back next year. But, like, hey, did you miss me? Like, it would imply that, like, they've been gone for a long time. And, obviously, I mean, Jake fell early last year, which is unfortunate. But, like, I don't know. It seemed kind of weird that they did that. But I guess I'll just bring up Jake Murray. He was towards the end of the episode, but hey, he got a new haircut. That was the focus of his profile, which is, I guess you gotta go with what you got sometimes. He rushed the 10,000 mega wall, but he still cleared overall. He made me a little nervous kind of going through this because I was afraid he was going to do the wipeout again like last year. But hey, he cleared, move on to the next round. That's always good. Really glad to see it because I kind of had a good interaction with Jake at National Ninja League Finals this past year. He is legitimately a good guy. So I'll just put it like that. I just want to go back to the beginning. Dr. Cody Sessions. He's a surgeon who literally walks across the street, and I made a note of this because it's hilarious. One of his friends had a sign that said, "Break a leg, Cody, I can fix it," which is hilarious. He tried to do an early dismount on the ring jump, but he ended up his legs went into the water, and he banged his head on the actual obstacle itself, and ended up getting like a weird gash on his head. It was kind of nasty to see. And also, I just want to bring out the second person, Isaac Mitchell. This is a very weird thing because it's basically the whole point of his profile is that he's a black dude. He's friends with this older white woman named Rachel. They hang out together. They call themselves Coffee and Cream. What does any of this have to do with anything? Honestly, nothing. I feel bad for saying this, but like I really like this. I really like this profile piece. On its own, I really liked it. But when you actually like apply it to the show, this has absolutely no business being on the show. It's so weird because I thought it was charming, but like then he gets to the course and is like, oh, he's never trained for ninja. He was on the walk-on line for some reason, and he ended up failing the double twist. So it's like you spent all this time and you got nothing out of it. It's so weird, so weird. But you know what wasn't weird? Eric Middleton. So his whole thing was that he's a bug eater, trying to teach the health of eating bugs. And he had this bet with Matt and Akbar that if he clears the whole course, Matt and Akbar have to eat fried tempura bugs. I think it was a tarantula. Yeah, fried tempura tarantula. And it was a very funny dynamic to essentially hear Matt and Akbar root against this guy. Basically be like, no, every time he clears an obstacle. And thankfully, he cleared the whole course. I was like, yes. And they were like, no. It's like, it was pretty funny to watch. Matt and Akbar right then and there, they ate the tarantula. Matt had a better time in it than Akbar did. That's for sure. Akbar couldn't really handle it. Matt could though, so that was nice. That was a nice segment. One thing that was surprising was Dan Yeager going out on the ring jump. I mentioned like all these people failing the ring jump, how difficult it was, but like yeah. Austin Gray. He was one of those rare instances of someone failing the warped wall, but like he did it. It was kind of weird. He had this whole profile about how he donated his kidney to his friend, and that's great. I think he had a shirt like, "Of course I would donate my kidney. Who wouldn't want a piece of this?" Which was pretty funny. If you want to be slightly inappropriate, you can be like, "Who wouldn't want me inside them?" But never mind. Whatever. Not as family friendly. But it was a bit of a weird, I guess, sort of ending to his run because they did this whole thing and like he failed the mega wall and then he failed the normal warp wall and it's like it was sort of had this weird like it's over, huh? But again, like there's no reason to like not go for the mega wall because he moved on anyway and it's I think it was A&W 7 was the last time where failing the warp wall could result in not moving on. Maggie Thorne. They gave her a profile piece. I know, but they didn't give her a profile piece. They gave her a run though, and then she failed the ring jump, which was unfortunate. And then they showed Gavin McCall. He's the father of the tie-dye ninja. She's this girl who has done some Ninja Warrior videos and gotten way more views than anything I've ever done. And obviously he ran the course because of her daughter. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to do the double twist. He failed right away. But, like, it was cool that they got to go on the course together. I'm sure they have a video about it. I haven't looked. But, like, yeah. It was interesting. Obviously, like, she's way too young to be on the show. I'm trying to think. She might even be too young to be on American Ninja Warrior Jr. I'm not sure what the minimum age is. But, yeah, we have to kind of look on that. One thing that was kind of, I guess annoying about watching this show, and this was like no fault of A&W, but unfortunately there was like a whole breaking news report that like basically pushed the second half of the show back by 21 minutes because it was a Supreme Court justice nomination announcement, but unfortunate. I watched Whose Line Is It Anyway, waiting for that. It was a good episode. I liked it. Lance Pegas made his return. Wife's doing better. Kind of regurgitating the profile from last time. My feelings are honestly kind of the same as last year. Like, obviously it sucks for them. I'm glad that she's doing better. Like, I don't really like the way that they present it. But he ended up clearing. That's good. He did fail the mega wall though, but. Speaking of failure, very surprised to see John Alexis Jr. fail the Diamond Dash. I am because I think a lot of people feel like he's someone who could have done the mega wall, because he won the mega wall challenge 2 A&W All Stars ago. I wonder how he would have done in Philadelphia. Really curious. So yeah, okay, I remember this one. Abby Clark. So they brought up that last year she ended up failing the ring jump. And the ring jump happens to be on this course this year. A bit unfortunate for her. But not only did she clear the ring jump, she ended up clearing the whole course, and that's great. Actually, she ended up being the best woman, the only woman to clear in this episode, which means she did better than Megan Martin. So yeah, that's definitely an example of like a name that sort of like popped up out of nowhere and is seemingly kind of getting some spotlight. But I guess I'll just bring up Megan Martin. This was one of those, like, Megan Martin had one of those weird profiles in which it was more about like some random kid that she met, and those types of profiles are very weird because it's not really about the competitors, And so she ended up doing that. She ended up slipping on the last section of the battering ram on the last log, trying to grab. I believe it was trying to grab onto it. She fell. So, but that was still more than enough to move on to the next round. Also, Endita Stagner. I just want to bring up. I heard about this ahead of time. So, she is the wife of Michael Stagner. Endita used to be wheelchair bound from I forget what the disease was, but but she ended up taking the course for the first time. This was great. For those who don't know, Louis Mosso actually flew her and her family in to train on the floating steps in a preparation of trying to, get her ready for the course. Unfortunately, on the actual show, she ended up failing the floating steps, going out on the fourth step. But like, honestly, like, this is a lot of times A&W tends to say, oh, they're winning just by making it onto the course, and this is one of the few times where like I actually agree with that statement. So, good on her. I was like, I liked that. Just to bring up a few of the fast forwards. Dalton Knapp cleared. Drew Knapp failed the battering ram, but obviously still moves on. Tyler Gillette also cleared. The final run of the night was Joe Moravsky, who, again, didn't get a profile piece. Like, I just want to point out that of the 3 people who made it to stage 3 last year, Najee was the only one who got a proper profile piece before his run. Joe and Sean didn't. Sean was shown mid-run. At least Joe got his full run in this case. But I thought that was very weird. Joe did get some stats ahead of time. He ended up failing the mega wall. He still ended up getting the fastest time of night, but it was very weird because like he looked. It was a weird case of someone disappointed that they cleared the wall to wall because he wanted the mega wall and like he was close but no cigar. So no mega wall clears this time around, which means that we end the season with only 6 mega wall clears. And I'm gonna be honest, that's lower than I thought. If you saw the preview, I said that I expected more than $100,000 being paid out, which basically meant I thought 11 were gonna clear the mega wall, and basically half that actually did it. So I was surprised. I thought Joe would have been able to do it. I thought people like Flip and John Alexis would have been some of the people who did it also. And Drew Drechsel was another name I would have put on the list, but like, in some cases, there was various factors, like, Drew was raining, Joe, in case of John and Flip, they didn't even make it to the mega wall to even attempt it. So, it's more than just being able to do the wall itself. You got to do the course ahead of time. So that was surprising. But, yeah, no mega wall clears. And honestly, like, just because the ring jump was just so surprisingly difficult, and the double twister was difficult, too, as a new obstacle, you didn't need to get far to move on to the next round, as we'll see right here when I get through the stats. So a total of 99 people ran in this particular region, and in this episode, We saw 13 full runs, and none of them were shown mid-progress, but 27 fast-forwards, and of the 14 clears, only 9 of them were shown in the episode, which is very weird. So just to go through some of the names who got left off from the episode completely: Sean Darling-Hammond, Jonathan Stevens, Mike Myers, Michael Torres, and Leif Sunderberg all did not get shown at all despite clearing the course. In the case of, I know Michael Torres was one of the people who were supposed to run in Philly. Obviously, like I said last time, Joe and John Alexis were both supposed to run in Philly also. I think there was like 3 people from Miami who were supposed to run, and because of rain got moved to Minneapolis also, I remember reading. But yeah, I was surprised it was only 99 though. It felt like, I wonder what happened. It felt like there should have been more. But anyway, here's your leaderboard for the Minneapolis Qualifier. So in first place was Joe Moravsky, followed by Eric Middleton, Leif Sunderberg, Michael Torres, Jake Murray, Mike Myers, Jonathan Stevens, Lance Pikas, Tyler Gillette, Dan Delano, Sean Darling-Hammond, Ian Dory, Dalton Knapp, and Abby Clark. And those are 14 completions. We had 1 person fail the warped wall in Austin Gray. 9 people failed the Battering Ram in the form of Drew Knapp, Hunter Garrard, Michael Silinzi, Carson Voiles, Justin Kramer, Jalali Annan, Megan Martin, Jason Sally, and Garrett Lam. And we round out the top 30 with 6 people who failed the Diamond Dash in the form of John Alexis Jr., Ben Antoine, Andrew Rue Yori, James Gomez, Denny Bergstorm, and Julius Ferguson. And to round out the top 5 leaderboard, we have Sarah Schobeck, Jamie Ross, and Sarah Heeson, who all failed the ring jump. And if they want to move on, they're going to have to do better than that in the finals. And that will stop the clock right there. So that is my full thoughts on the Minneapolis qualifier. Not as good as some of the other regionals, but I think that was largely due to just the results. The course itself was actually fine. Outside the Diamond Dash, I thought that was the weakest obstacle of the bunch. But what did you think? Did you like the Minneapolis qualifier? Were you surprised at so many early clears and that the cutoff was the 4th obstacle this time around? Were you surprised at Abby Clark, or did anything else surprise you? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time when I talk to you about the Los Angeles Finals in American Ninja Warrior Season 10. Until then, see ya!